Hello? Hello? Hello, hello, hello. Oh! This is my revival on YouTube. So, hello guys. Welcome to my stream. Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, or whatever it is in your time schedule. It is your Demon Lord, Kurokami Amagiri. How are you doing? So, yeah. Mm, this is the first time that I won't be actually be talking about gaming in general. This content is gonna be more on anime. Um, as some of you may or may not be aware, I'm actually a big anime fan. I've been an anime fan since like I was a child, and I've watched a lot of animes that was made possible during the time that I was here on an early age. Mm, I know that mm, this kind of thing usually happens with a lot of contents. Like there's a lot of um, there's a lot of animes that are already released in the present, and I hope to be able to share my joys in watching these animes, my experiences with them, and generally how big I'd be able to share my love for anime. So I do apologize for taking the time to actually give out more contents today. Actually, what I'm doing right now is I'm kind of promoting my stream to a lot of channels here present in the discords that I've been in here. Mm-hmm. I wonder if I've already shared it a lot. Mm-hmm. I think this is enough. Yeah, I think so. I think it is. So, yeah. So, let's talk about anime in general. So, The first question that I always have in mind would be, what is your first anime? Like, what was the first anime that you've actually watched? Mm, well, if I were to talk about the first anime that I've watched, it's gotta probably be along the lines of Akazuki Chacha, Dragon Ball, Ranma One Half, You're Under Arrest, and along those lines. So with all that said and done, first of course I would like to thank VTuber Extremist for following, and also Janesu. Hi Janesu. Yeah. So for the anime talk, actually I'm gonna show you guys the the logos or the images of these um, anime list that I have at the moment. So do bear with me as I am still adding a few stuff here and there. Mm-hmm. There. Can you guys see it? I wonder if it's visible enough for you guys, but I'll try to adjust the size as much as I can. There we go. Aha. Can you see it? Can you see it now? So, let's talk about the first anime that we have here. So, this anime is called Tatoeba Last Dungeon Nandake. This is hard with all those long titles. So, the full title of this anime is called Tatoeba Last Dungeon by Nomura no Shonen ga Joban no Machi de Kurasu Yona Monogatari. So, in short, it's suppose a kid from the last dungeon boonies moved to a starter town. So that's like the English translation of the anime title, and quite honestly, I would be talking about this anime for quite a bit. This anime has quite a lot of interesting plots to speak of. So, one of the first few things that I would like to talk about would be this would be a story about the main character, Lloyd, who dreamt of becoming a hero that he actually read from one of the books that he had during his childhood days. And the villagers in his town were actually opposed to him going to the town because he's weak. Like, everyone thinks of him as someone who's not able to protect himself from the dangers that he may experience in the outside world. And quite frankly, I find this character to be something similar to Belcranel of Danmachi. So for those who aren't aware of Danmachi, the anime is called Dungeon ni Deai wo something along those lines. As long as is it wrong to pick up girls in the dungeon? That's like the English title of that anime. And Belle and Lloyd actually have this similar feeling to them, but there are actually main differences, which comes with Lloyd and our hero Belle Caranel. So for this anime, Lloyd doesn't have any common sense. Like, everything that he perceives as something amazing or um, something that he considers dangerous would be on the extreme ends of the spectrum. Like, imagine this: you're the main character, yet everyone from the village that you live in tells you that no, you're weak, and everyone and he sees everyone do things better. So of course, if you were in his position, you'll probably be down as well, since everyone can do things that you can. Well, at least the only thing that he could be proud of is would be his house husband, his house husband things, like he can cook, he can clean, he can wash dishes, and he can literally become a waifu, a husbando in home. So I think that would be the very summary about Lloyd. Then, of course, so one day he gets approval from the villagers and this village chief that he could go to the starting town and train himself to become a hero. So what he did was he actually ran away, like literally he ran all the way from his village down towards the starting town, which took him 6 days. Then, upon arriving town, he meets this Bishojo witch, this lovely witch that we have here in the photo. Um, so I actually forgot to check her name. Since we would be talking about more likely about the hero, so we would be talking much more about Lloyd. So in this scenario, she tells Lloyd that he doesn't have anything to offer her, so she immediately tells her, she immediately tells him to leave her place. So and then he's like, I came from my village. My village is from Kunlun, and then our village chief told us that you should take care of me or something. And then, boom. So, oh yeah. The name of the witch is Mari. So, that said, so the village chief actually appears and tells her apprentice, which is this witch, this beautiful one, that she should allow Lloyd to stay within her home and then treat him well. So that said, he gets starting point of the basic formula of a harem, which starts with two girls starting to like him and possibly more. So this village chief actually is a super talented mage that's able to use ancient rune magic. So for this anime, ancient rune magic is like the pinnacle or the highest level form of magic that exists in the world, and only a bunch of handful of people are able to use rune magic. Although for some reason, um, well, I mean, Lloyd could be able to use this magic. So even Marie was actually surprised that Lloyd was able to use such magic. Like, wow, I studied my ass off for 3 years just to learn one spell, and he's able to do it like it's just nothing. So we got an OP character, we got the harem, and yeah. So of course, after being able to get his place, he starts to go to the military to be able to join the training. Upon meeting, going on his way, he actually met the Belt Princess. So the Belt Princess was like a cursed entity with belt strap on her face until he has enough strength or power to free herself from the said belt. And Of course, she gets attacked to the monster, and then Lloyd saves her. Yes, Karen is out. So, as you would expect on a harem anime, majority of the girls fall in love with him, and they all want to be with him. And that's how this anime goes. So, of course, since surprisingly, when saving the girl, he actually fought a giant grasshopper, and that giant grasshopper was defeated in just a few hits. Like, God, where can you see an anime guy calls himself weak, beats the shit out of all the monsters that he meets on the way? Like, you gotta be kidding. And when he told his house house owner, housekeeper, landlady, or however you call it in your place, that he actually ran all the way from his village going to the starting town, and she says it's impossible for any human, like literally impossible for someone to just run all the way from your village going to the starting town and make it there within 6 days by just running. And she even thought that he used a train, but apparently he didn't. So, with that into consideration, we all know now how OP he can be. So he's super strong, he's super fast, he's dense to the point of insanity. Really, really dense. So of course, when finally he enters the exam, after saving the damsel in distress, which is the Dark Princess, and then it turns out that some of the instructors there were actually afraid of him at first, telling that he must be some kind of an OP monster that is only seen once in every generation or something of that sort. Then, of course, due to his inferiority complex from the villagers and his place, he doesn't seem to think of himself that way, or he belittles himself too much, like literally. So, what happened there was, of course, the that were able to assess his strength are really terrified of him. But as the story went on, they actually grow fond of him because he doesn't seem to be the guy that just rampages out of the blue. He doesn't do extreme things, and he's socially he's generally kind to everyone, like literally kind to everyone. A trait that these OP main characters usually have. So, of course, he tries out for the exam and does his best. Of course, one of those officers that were actually interested in him actually wanted to watch him take the exam, but somehow he wasn't able to since he had job to do. So of course, this anime also has those mysterious deep thinker type of main characters when they push up their glasses. Yeah. Keikakudori. とか。すべては計画通り。と言いましたか? And then, turns out, he's also a real goofball. So, this anime has a lot of things in store. And of course, after the episode 1, he finds out that he failed the exam. and of course, due to that, the people who were expecting him to be passing with flying colors were actually confused, frustrated, and graded out what happened. And actually, that would be it for this episode 1 for Natoe Ba Last Dungeon. Although I wanted to talk about the episode 2 since episode 2 came out yesterday. But today is a new week. Today is a week wherein there are new episodes, new chapters, and the content of this talk would be just about the previous ones. Not this week, only last week. Therefore, Log Horizon, Tensei Slime, Mushoku Tensei, not part of it. So, episode 2s and a few episode 1s aren't counted to this list. Okay. So, next anime. So, this anime is called Urasekai Picnic. It looks like a Yuri anime. So, Urasekai Picnic is an anime with the two heroines, which is Sorao Kamikoshi and Toriko Nishina. And Sorao is the black-haired and Toriko is the blonde babe. So, both of them are cute. So, this anime actually acts like a traverse isekai. So, Sora Kamikoshi is a girl who found herself floating in some kind of a pond in another world. And generally, from the way that she talks, she feels like she's one of those melancholic ones. The type that thinks negatively about herself and her point of views. So, I think this would be the kind of anime wherein she gets to discover herself more, that there is more to her than just being melancholic, and she could do something probably more better in life. So, I think this anime would turn out good. As for how good, I'm not that sure yet. So, she is able to see the monsters in that world. And of course, at the same time, the monsters are able to see her too. So, I don't know if the ghosts are some kind of Oni toka Yure, Ayashiki toka Nandemo wa totemo wakarimasen. So, when she gets herself into trouble, Toriko, the blonde girl, gets to save her. And of course, we get to see a few Yuri actions. Yuri. I got lots of hope for this anime, and I hope it acts like a Gap Yuri anime, wherein there are parts of the scene where bits of Yuri is exposed for this anime. Yes, I like Yuri. So, after the short Yuri action, then the opening song. The opening song is great. Like, oh my god. So, for those who doesn't know, the opening theme is called Minikui Ikimono. So this is a song which is made by Honeyworks and sung by Chico. So, Honeyworks, for all we know, is a producer that makes cute songs. Like, they make a lot of cute songs. And then, from what I've seen from this anime, they were able to fight off the ghost and then run away. So, it feels like this is the type of traverse isekai. that I was talking about. So, what is Traverse Isekai? So, Traverse Isekai is something similar to El Hazard, Ray Earth, uh, Digimon, Fushigi Yugi, Inuyasha, along those types, wherein you can travel back and forth from those isekai worlds that you've been into. I feel like this is one of those animes wherein you can do the same. So, one of the few interesting things that you can actually do in this anime is when you travel to the isekai, you can bring back items or anything that you've taken out from that world back into the real world, as they were able to take this cube. This cube, it's a it's like a polished mirror cube, but you don't get to see your own reflection. Like, this is one hell of weird cube. And then it seems like seeing a blue kaleidoscope from your surroundings is something dangerous. Like, the moment that Sorao checked the door, the site where you could check to see who was outside the door, she's able to see that there's this blue kaleidoscope action happening outside. And all of a sudden, Toriko got herself into a panic, thinking that something dangerous might happen to them. So, I think it should be a warning sign. But in other cases, I think the blue kaleidoscope is actually them traversing the world, the two worlds. Like, if you're able to view that kaleidoscope, it means that you're already traveling in from your world going to their world, or vice versa. I think that's what I think about it. But I don't know about you guys. Maybe it might be different for you. So, from what I've seen, Throwing of Salt, checking out monsters, weaknesses, and that stuff, it reminds me that the purifying techniques or their ghost hunting techniques are based on Japanese folklore or superstition. So we may be able to see more common Japanese ghosts. So we might be able to see Kuchisake Onna, Jeto Baba, Nonario, Nurikabe, Toka, Ningyo, and Takusawaru. So, for you to be able to beat the ghost, you actually have to analyze the ghost. Like, you should be able to see their weaknesses, think of methods on how to beat them. It shows that the anime tells you in short that you can beat the ghost. Like, for how, it's gotta be something for you to find out, kind of thing. So, they're working as a pair, partners in crime. Yes, actually, that's what they call themselves. They're partners in crime. So, this would be the anime wherein they would probably try to make their fortune in that world, while maybe in the stage of self discovery. I don't know, but I think it will go along those lines. So, from watching this anime, it actually reminds me of this anime. I'm not sure if everyone is aware, but it was called Kyoko Suiri, Inspector, for the English fans out there. So Kyoko Suiri is the anime where the leading character is named Kotoko Iwanaga. So she uses logic, she uses earthly knowledge to solve ghost problems. And I think this anime tries to emulate that aspect with, I think, more of the ghost fighting and self-discovery. Since Kyoko Suiri actually has already their set plot wherein the characters already know themselves, what they are, and what they want to do. Actually, for what wanting to do, for Kyoko Suiri, I think that's a process that they would want to discover. But they definitely know themselves and they know what they want. So that's a topic for another conversation. Well, of course, listening to the ending song is great. The song is called You and Me by Miki Satoru. So that's it for Urasekai Picnic. Now for the next anime is of course ReZero. Yes, of course. Who wouldn't know about this fantastic anime? So for those who doesn't know ReZero, oh my god, I don't know what rock you've been living under. Just kidding. But anyway, ReZero is an anime wherein the main character Subaru gets isekai to another world. He is a NEET that tries to think that he might be better than anyone else since he is an isekai character, but he also knows that he has limitations, and turns out that he is able to accept his weaknesses along the way. So for the current episode, this. Wait, let me get that. Let me get latest episode, death. So we get to see Subaru finally opening up to Otto. So Otto actually punches the hell out of Subaru for him to understand that they are friends, wherein they could confide in each other, share each other's problems, and that Otto would do his best to actually help Subaru. So I think this is a sign of a good development for the new episode. Like, new episode, bang! Straight to the point. No more recaps. This is what's good about ReZero. Hey, Carl Shane Antonio Ramos, thanks for following. Welcome, welcome. So, yeah. So, after discussing with Otto his plans, he goes out of his way and starts making a bet with Roswell. So, the bet would actually, the moment that he arrived there, he actually set his rules of engagement with Roswell, that he knows everything about Roswell, and that he knows that Roswell everything knew what he is and or is was. I'm not that sure about actually. So he made a bet with Roswell. So the bet would actually be regarding their wishes. So should Roswell lose, Subaru wants Roswell to follow his wishes instead of Echidna's. So meaning the book, the black, the Bible that Roswell actually owns, he has to discard it and instead follow Subaru instead. A pretty ballsy move, if you ask me. Well, actually, that is a point of being ballsy for this anime. His authority allows him to repeat a certain point in time, making sure that the deal never happens. On some point, actually, he might have been fucked for quite a while if he actually starts on a point that just started saving with a bad end. So that would be the worst case scenario. So far from the current arc for freeing the sanctuary, Subaru is able to load his previous repeats on occasions wherein there hasn't been any major repercussion yet. So, should Subaru lose to Roswell, then he has to follow everything that Roswell says. Well, kind of fair proposition if you ask me. So, after hearing the declaration that Subaru mentioned to Roswell, Roswell actually tells him that he may be too greedy for his own good. Of course, Subaru does admit that he may be too greedy, but he never spoke it out loud. So, with that said, after their agreement about what would transpire, Subaru was given the information that there would be 3 days. Just 3 days. 3 days before the plans of Roswell would take in motion. So those would include the attack on the mansion and the snow, wherein the snow rabbits appear and everyone in the mansion dies. So that's like the worst possible outcome. So it is best at this point that Subaru has to finish the trials before the 3 days. I think that would be the ideal ones. With that said, this would be the time wherein Subaru and Otto would push their plans. So, on Subaru's timeline, he actually goes to Ryuzu on the chamber where the original Ryuzu mayor is staying. While talking to this Yuzu that is currently representing him, she actually calls herself Ryuzu Arma. But for convenience sake, let's call her Alpha now. For the meantime, let's call her Alpha. So, after talking with Ryuzu, he finally gets it that he may be talking to a different Ryuzu. So what he did was he asked for a reintroduction. So, watashi no namae wa Natsuki Subaru. And then Ryuzu be like, yes, I am Ryuzu Arma. So, this gives him the idea that he really did talk to a different Ryuzu. Since the Ryuzu that he met, the first was actually Ryuzu Bilma. So, Bilma, or should I say Beta, or in this case. So, Ryuzu gets to talk to him and tells him everything that's happened about all the witches, all the Ryuzus currently present. And he finds out that there are actually 4 Ryuzus present. And those 4 are like essentially the ones responsible for taking care of the original Ryuzu body and will be continuing to govern everyone. However, there's this one Ryuzu that considered herself an outcast and left the 4. So her name was Ryuzu Shima. And also, she is the same Ryuzu that actually appeared during last season, wherein he met Ryuzu in a forest, and that was where the part where Subaru gets killed by Garfield. So that Ryuzu, the one he met on the forest. So what happened was Garfield actually was a examinee for the sanctuary. So since he's both Hanma or half human, half yokai, so what he did actually was he took the exam and utterly failed. Long story short, he failed. So that said, what happened was mm, Ryu Tsushima was actually the first one to talk to Garfield and be like, "Hey, wanna talk to me? Want to share your problems?" And fortunately, Garfield was actually able to share everything that he experienced, everything he knows with the current Ryuzu Shima, who's currently outside. So once that the part where he gets to finally understand the situations we're in, the other Ryuzu's at, he started to deal with the main concern that he has right now, which is Emilia. So at this point, um, he gets to talk with Emilia. He tried to open up with her and try to let him understand what was really going on with Emilia's past. So finally, for the first time, Emilia opened up herself. So she started talking about her past. Well, not everything, just the parts that she could remember, which could be found on the OVA. So if you were able to watch the ReZero OVA, you will actually be able to find the OVA from the ones actually it was broadcasted on Japanese television for the OVA. So I think for those who are able to watch it, feel free to watch. If you're able to buy the digital copy, please do buy the original merchandise and buy the DVD. Or if you're lucky enough to stay in Japan, then please do watch it via the television. Televi kara inite kimasu. So that said, during her past, she was actually able to share the part that Roswell was actually using Emilia's situation for her to be able to go with the royal selection. Since, as we, in case that you're not aware, um, Roswell's main plans is actually to use Emilia as a catalyst for him to be able to resurrect Echidna, since she is half elf, half human, which is the same type with Echidna. And based on their looks, they actually look quite as similar. So Roswell definitely thinks that once he uses Emilia for his own gains, he may be able to revive Echidna. So, of course, Subaru, being the understanding man he is, he actually accepted her and like he was able to tell her that everything would be okay. Subaru knows everything that's happened with her and he'll do his best to be on her side. So that said, after talking with Emilia, Emilia actually falls asleep. It was like the first time that Emilia was actually able to feel at ease from what she experienced during the exam, the test. So, that said, Subaru wanted to talk to Puck, but he didn't have any other options. So, The only way for him to actually get to discuss with Puck was bringing out this killing intent wherein he has to project to Puck that he will kill Emilia. So that said, he tried to choke Emilia, but then he got a bit of a frostbite from Puck, and then he and Puck actually talks. So when he gets to talk with Puck, I believe that they actually talked about what happened here was he was actually able to ask Puck all the important questions that he wanted to know from Puck and how he could resolve everything. So that said, um, he probably made a big plan, a bold plan, and he even told it to Puck to the point where Puck may actually believe in Subaru that he can actually do it. So that said, Puck tries to believe in Subaru and uh, he actually tried to make sure that Puck will be able to uphold the things on his end. So when morning came, Emilia was actually surprised to see Puck, that she is worried that Puck wasn't able to show himself to her. And then Puck explains that he would have to leave Emilia already. However, he would leave Emilia in the hands of the second person who loves Emilia the most in the world. Whoa, big claims! So Puck said those big claims to Emilia, pointing out that he definitely trusts Subaru now for Emilia's safety. And then, that said, Puck broke his contract with Emilia, which he even promised himself that he would never break his contract with Emilia since he think of Emilia as his own daughter. So out of the wishes of Subaru that he definitely believes that he can save Emilia, Puck decided to take a gamble and broke that contract. When that contract broke, that was the start wherein Emilia actually able to recollect all, like the entire memories that she had prior to being frozen. And Puck basically knew everything. Like, he could have saved everyone from Emilia's family. He could have saved the elves, but no. Things turned weird, and actually, he was only able to save Emilia. Although that was like a lucky coincidence, there's no definite proof that he actually planned on saving Emilia at this point. So that said, it finally moves now to the chapter when Emilia cries a lot. And she only lost the only family that she had because of him breaking his contract. So when that time, from that time, it actually now moved to a new scene where it shows that Ryu Tsushima is actually talking with Garfield. So they were in this separate cabin which can be found inside the sanctuary, although the location is unknown to others. Ryu Tsushima actually tells Garfield that Subaru might be an ally, although that he may reek of the smell that he has from being a disciple of greed, apostle of greed actually. So Garfield must be thinking that Ryuzu is nuts. Well, actually, I think anyone in that situation would think that she may be nuts. But she tries to explain to Garfield that there might be something more to Subaru than what they can see on the surface. So that got Garfield into thinking. Then after that, it's Pepe time. Like, it's finally the babe time for Emilia and Subaru. So, this is the time in the anime wherein Emilia wanted Subaru to be with her on her side. So, this was like a big yes moment for Subaru. And like, finally, I finally get to have some nice splendid time with Emilia, but unfortunately, he can't. Since he has things to do in order to make sure that both the sanctuary and the mansion can be saved. So he had to break the promise of with Emilia that he would stay up with her until she wakes up again. So the time that Emilia woke up, she saw that Subaru disappeared and actually called him a liar as well. I don't know at this point if it would be the point wherein Emilia may not trust anyone anymore. So, when morning came, Emilia disappeared. Not only that, not only Emilia disappeared, but also all of the Ryuzus disappeared. Like, the four of them. Like, holy shit. So everyone gets in a state of panic, and Subaru be like, what's wrong? And then Subaru, Emilia's gone, Ryu's gone, and then what the fuck? And of course, they started searching for them. So during the time that Garfield was actually looking for Ryu Tsushima to tell her that something weird is going on, he was actually unable to find Ryu Tsushima on her secret cabin. So that said, he had no choice. Like, he had no choice but to contact the other Ryuzus who might still be present. So when he arrived at the crystal of Ryuzumir, sadly, there was no one there. Except, Otto was there. So Otto actually introduced himself to Garfield and told him that they have plans and he wanted Garfield to listen. But probably Garfield might not listen to Otto at all and might even attack him on the first words that he may be able to say. So I think for this part of the anime, this would be the time that I would be able to say that Otto actually is quite ballsy. This is quite a ballsy move that he made. And of course, it's really surprising. Then, finally, the last scene of the anime, we're able to see that Subaru was able to find Emilia inside the sanctuary. Although I think this might be the first sanctuary, not actually the second sanctuary. So, he found Emilia hiding in the first sanctuary all alone by herself. She's probably contemplating about whom to trust, whom not to trust. I think that would be the thing that she would be worried the most. So I think the current episode right now would actually be revolving around that. But who knows? Maybe for the next episode, something new might happen. So after that, our next anime would be Slime. Tensei Slime. So for those that doesn't know this anime, the full title of this anime is Tensei Shitara Slime Datta Ken. So for those English viewers out here, the anime title is in English is The Time That I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. So this is actually season 2. This is season 2 of the anime. So for this anime, we have here Rimuru, who was reincarnated as a slime and then tries to make the best of what he has in the current world where he is in, to live in a peaceful life. That would be like the TLDR of this anime. So, what's new about this episode 24.9? Well, the good part about this anime is that the only, quote and unquote, only thing about episode 24.9 is that for the first few minutes, it actually continued where the anime left off. So, it showed there the um after the fight with, what's the name of that woman again? Um, one of Shizue's pupils, the one that almost defeated Rimuru. So after that, it suddenly started with the second opening song from season 1. I was actually surprised. Like, what the fuck? This is the first time that I've seen a season 2 started with a first season opening song. It's quite un- it's quite unfamiliar. So, what do we get from this episode 24.9? So basically, it's just a recap of everything that happened during season 1. So for those that aren't interested in rewatching the entire season 1, 24.9 might be a good recap episode for y'all. So at the end of the flashbacks on that episode, it shows there that Hinata, yes, it's Hinata. Hinata blames Rimuru for Shizu's death. Although the reason why she only thinks that way is because he has Shizu's looks, but she doesn't actually really know why it happened, why it got to that point. And of course, the ending theme was also the same. So in short, there was actually nothing new that was added for season 2 for Tensei Slime. And this would be like the shortest readout that I would actually done for this anime. So finally, we get to talk about the last anime that was released for last week. So this anime is this one. So for those who doesn't know, this is the Oredake Haireru Dungeon. Um, I forgot the English title. It's, oh yeah, the hidden dungeon where only I can enter. So it's Oredake Haireru Kakshi Dungeon. So this anime is almost similar to Danmachi, wherein the main character enters the dungeon to become stronger and actually tries to prove that he is a worthy man for Emma, which is the girl in the middle. So for those who doesn't know, the main character is called Noir. The speed anime. Yes, definitely speed. So this anime actually is definitely an ecchi anime. Like, first episode, boobs. We all know when this anime shows boobs in the first few minutes of this anime, definitely harem. No question. So, the episode actually started off where he actually hears a voice in his head, and then it tells him to find the voice, the source of the voice. Then upon entering the door, he finds a beautiful woman with blue hair in chains. And then, boobs to the brim. Yeah, exactly. So, for this anime, you get to see a beautiful woman in chains, cute Imoto, definitely harem. Wherein the Imoto is also in love with her Oni-chan, the childhood friend is also in love with the Oni-chan. Mm-hmm. So, in the episode 1, it actually shows off wherein the main character was weak at the start, where he wanted to become stronger. So it's definitely appears weak in the start, bullied, na later becomes OP in the future. That that kind of trope definitely 100% spicy. Yeah. So it's one of those Ikeru Gambate ore. Ore jishin wa Ore jishin yowai kedo subete o gambarimasu. And then boom. So imagine we're still not yet in the half of the anime, and then the first episode definitely makes way for the love interest. Definitely harem. So my cup of tea actually. Same. This anime doesn't let you think that much. It just lets you enjoy what the main character is actually experiencing. So get it gets to the point wherein he got a job as a librarian on the first day. Then on that first day he finds out, hey, I'm not a librarian anymore, and some prick of a noble actually took my job. Jobless right at the start of the anime. So he wanted to find ways wherein he could enter the hero academy, where his sister told him that, why don't you try entering the hero academy, and maybe you can get a lot of ways to be able to be stronger and then earn a lot. So while finding a way on how to become strong, he met back his childhood friend Emma, and she tells him that his unique ability, which is called the Great Sage. So in this world, people are born with skills. So it turns out that for this main character, his Great Sage is actually a super rare skill. Like, it is a skill that almost nobody ever actually has. And yeah, it turns out that this skill also actually has its own weaknesses, wherein when he tries to ask the Great Sage a question, he would get terrible headaches, wherein to the point that he would fall unconscious every time he uses this ability. So he finds it rather useless than helpful. So by that time, his childhood friend actually told him that, I found in the I found in the library in this old book that there's actually a way on how you could counteract the headache from this skill. So all you have to do is just kiss a girl, basically. Since a great sage would kiss his wives every time that he's starting to experience his headaches, so she thinks that by him being able to do the same thing, he would not have the headaches anymore. And of course, they kissed right at the first episode. Good job. 100% harem. So by asking the great sage, he was actually able to find out that there is a dungeon that he could go through to become the world's strongest. And then that's where it picks up the first part of the anime, where he goes to the secret dungeon and meets the hot babe in chains. After actually incurring this hot babe, she tells him, I can make you stronger. I can pass you my skills. All Might, is that you? I have a power that I can pass. It is what? Oh no, not that skill. So he is given 3 skills. One which is the skill to create. Something we definitely know. And then edit. kind of suspicious. And also, um, Give. I'm not sure about the name of the third one. But in short, he's able to create skills, he's able to pass on skills, and Give, pass, edit. Those are the three skills that he got from his master. So, once he was able to get the skills, he was actually able to get to have the knowledge that you can use these skills anytime that you want. Something is standing and it's not a beer foam. Sounds wrong, my friends. Sounds wrong. So yeah. So it gets now to the point wherein he gets to find out that the skills actually cost life points. Sounds like from an anime, a card game anime that I know, but definitely not. So he starts up with this weird exact number of life points. And then he has to get more LP life points. I'm assuming that at first turns out to be love points. So the love points is necessary for him to be able to use the skills or he would die. So how do you get love points? Be lewd? Have a lot of money or enjoy? All the things that I want in life. So, once that you are able to have these three things, your LP would start to increase. So, from what I've seen, the master already told him that she has already lived in that dungeon for 200 years, still in chains. So it means that she might have used some kind of an immortality spell or skill, but does not have the right amount of LP to actually make a skill to break the chains and not die by removing them. So, if I were the main character, So, yeah. With that said, he was given the skills by the master and taught by her in order to fight and how is he able to fight. And turns out he gets to do a lot of things already for this first episode. So after testing out his newfound OP skills, finally this is the redemption arc. So from this point on, he entered the Hero Academy and took the exam, and then like, here is your first exam. Something similar to an interview in the outside world. So for their interview, go hunt a monster and present their head or anything as a trophy. Then we will calculate your team's points based on that item that you brought. And then after testing out his skills and made sure that he's able to kill that level 99 monster, and then boom, he gets the highest grade for the entire academy's history. Wow. So this is the redemption arc. Quite so fast. Imagine entering almost the entire stages of that shonen anime trope in one episode. Amazing. So he gets to beat the boss like a bad man. Gets tons of fan service. And actually, this is quite a fun anime to watch in general. So this might be something that I would be watching, but definitely wouldn't consider as one of the best, but definitely one of the entertaining ones that I've seen. So my thoughts for this main character: he may have the most OP skills in existence, but he isn't in the least bright enough to know how to use his skills. Which is kind of like a sad point, actually. But who knows? Maybe one day he may be able to find out alternate methods on how to become stronger. So, that's it. Finally, we have reached the end point for this season, for this first week of our anime. For the next week, we will be talking about the new animes that just started their episode 1s and the episode 2s of the new animes that were recently discussed. So, for Saturday at 8:30 p.m., I would be having a collaboration stream with my other fellow VTubers, which is Shioripon, Rion Akahoshi, and Coral Aquarine. So we would be having our Left 4 Dead 2 collaboration stream, and I hope that you guys be there as well. A show that it keeps going, giving, but not taken so seriously. Yes, definitely one of those animes. So I hope to be able to see you guys again. Um, I'm not sure if I did well for this your anime weekly, but it is a program that I would like to continuously improve as we go on throughout the days. So I hope to see you guys again. Thank you so much for staying with me. So I hope to see you all in Saturday as well. This is your Demon Lord Kurokami Amagiri signing out. Thank you.